Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today, you guessed it, into the world of solar installation. You've probably got a stack of articles, maybe some notes you've jotted down, and we're here to help you pull out those key insights.
Yeah, think of us as your guides through this booming industry.
And our map for this deep dive, excerpts from Indeed.com's interview questions and answers for a solar installer. It's got tons of info, like what hiring managers really want to see in a candidate.
And what a great answer to a tough interview question actually sounds like.
Oh, and of course, we'll even peek into the future of this electrifying field. No pun intended.
You got me. But first, let's break down what employers are looking for in a solar installer. I was surprised by how it's not all about technical skills.
Yeah, it's more well-rounded than I expected. You definitely need that solid tech base, photovoltaics, inverters, the works. But it seems like employers want more than just someone who can wire things up.
Exactly. It's about seeing if you can apply that knowledge on the job. Like picture yourself on a slanted roof installing panels. Can you walk me through your process, your safety measures, how you'd make sure it's a quality install?
Makes sense. Someone could ace a solar panel theory test, but freeze up on an actual install? That's not good.
Nope. And we can't forget safety. Knowing OSHA guidelines, being super careful about securing the worksite, that's crucial in this field.
Especially with electricity and heights involved.
For sure. So, tech knowledge, practical experience, and a commitment to safety. Those are the big three for an aspiring solar installer.
Okay, but now let's get to the good stuff. The sample answers to those interview questions. They give you a glimpse into the mindset of a successful candidate.
Like the one about grid-tied versus off-grid systems. A good candidate wouldn't just say, yeah, I've worked with both. They'd give you specifics.
Like what? Give me an example.
They might talk about interconnect systems in urban areas, where you tie into the main power grid and even sell energy back. Or they might discuss full off-grid installs for remote areas, where connecting to the grid isn't even an option.
That's a great point. You have to articulate your knowledge in a way that shows real-world experience.
Another example that stood out was about dealing with unhappy customers. That's where those soft skills come in, which honestly can be just as vital as technical skills.
For sure. So how do you handle a tough customer situation in the solar world?
Well, the sample answer stresses empathy and clear communication. You don't just fix the problem, although that's super important. You also have to make sure the customer feels heard and understood.
It's about building trust, right? After all, letting someone install solar panels on your house is a big deal.
Huge deal, and usually a big investment too. So you've got to approach each customer with that professionalism and empathy to make sure they're happy.
Okay, so we've talked about tech skills, experience, and customer service. But I want to dig into the mindset of a great solar installer.
Love that. One answer that speaks to this is about problem solving. The source talks about approaching problems logically and step by step.
So a good installer isn't just good with wires, they're also a bit of a detective.
I like that analogy. It's that methodical, analytical mindset, piecing together clues to diagnose a problem, then working through solutions systematically.
You can't just be flipping switches randomly and hope for the best.
Right. Imagine a solar panel that's not performing as expected. You'd have to check the wiring, inspect the panel, maybe look at the inverter data. It's a step-by-step process.
It's tech expertise blended with critical thinking. You have to know what to look for and think creatively to troubleshoot.
And that applies beyond tech glitches. Imagine dealing with unexpected weather, a weird roof layout, or hidden structural issues. You need to be adaptable on the job site.
Not just book smart, but resourceful too.
Absolutely. And speaking of staying ahead of the curve, the source mentions staying updated with the latest solar tech and trends.
Which makes sense, considering how fast solar tech is evolving. What does that look like in practice?
It's a mix of self-directed learning and formal development. Reading industry publications, attending workshops, webinars, all that good stuff to stay up to date on new products and techniques.
It's like any tech field. You snooze, you lose.
Definitely. And let's be real, falling behind can have some serious consequences in this line of work, especially when it comes to safety.
So far, we've covered what employers are looking for: the tech knowledge, the hands-on skills, the focus on safety. We've also touched on those interview questions, and it's clear they're looking for more than textbook answers.
They want to see that you can really think, solve problems, communicate clearly, and handle those unexpected challenges.
So they want well-rounded individuals who are passionate about solar and ready to contribute to this growing industry.
And that brings us to the career outlook for solar installers. The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects a 22% growth in employment from 2022 to 2032, which is way faster than average for other jobs.
Wow, that's encouraging. Seems like a great time to consider a career in solar installation.
Absolutely. The demand for skilled solar pros is only going to go up as we move towards a more sustainable future.
But I have a feeling it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? What's the day-to-day reality of this job?
You're right. It's good to be realistic. The future is bright, but the work itself can be tough. We're talking long hours outdoors, often on rooftops, and in all kinds of weather.
So, not for everyone.
Definitely not. You need to be okay with heights, heavy lifting, and extreme temperatures. It's challenging, but for those who are passionate about renewable energy and enjoy hands-on work, it can be incredibly rewarding.
It seems like the perfect blend of tech expertise and a love for the outdoors. And with the job market booming, there's no better time to jump into solar installation.
I agree. As we transition towards a more sustainable future, the need for skilled solar installers will only increase.
That's great to hear. So we know the solar industry is booming, tons of demand for skilled installers, but what does it really take to excel in this field?
One thing that comes up a lot in the source material is quality control.
Makes sense with these complex systems in people's homes. What does that look like practically?
Think of it like a super detailed checklist that guides the whole installation. From checking out the site initially all the way to those final tests, there are procedures to ensure accuracy, efficiency, and safety.
So it's not just slapping those panels up there, it's doing it right with attention to detail.
Exactly. Every connection, every wire, even those mounting brackets need to be perfect. No room for shortcuts with electricity and, well, potentially dangerous situations.
I'm picturing those final checks. What would an installer be looking for to make sure everything's working right?
Testing that system output, making sure it's generating the right amount of power, checking for any voltage issues or signs of electrical faults, and of course, making sure everything is mounted securely and can handle the weather.
Sounds thorough. And I bet there's a ton of paperwork too, especially with connecting to the grid.
You're telling me. There's a whole administrative side to solar installation that people often forget about. Permits, inspections, getting the okay from the utility companies. It's a process, that's for sure.
So a good installer isn't just a tech whiz. They've got to be comfortable with bureaucracy too.
Absolutely. Organization, attention to detail, and clear communication with everyone involved. Inspectors, utility folks, everyone.
Now let's shift gears to something often overlooked in technical fields. Customer service.
Ah, yes, the human element. Easy to get lost in the technical stuff, but we're dealing with people at the end of the day.
People who have put a lot of trust, time, and money into you installing this system.
Exactly. It's more than just the install. You have to explain these complicated concepts clearly, address any concerns with patients, and make sure the customer feels informed every step of the way.
One question that highlights this is about explaining the benefits of solar to a potential customer. It's not as easy as it sounds, is it?
Not at all. It takes skill, being able to adjust your message to the individual, speak their language, address their specific needs and concerns.
So a good installer is part technician, part salesperson, part teacher.
I like that. Building rapport, inspiring confidence, making sure the customer feels good about their decision.
This whole customer service piece ties back to what we talked about with problem solving.
Oh, you mean it's not always about fixing a broken wire? It's about solving problems for the customer.
Right. Sometimes the biggest hurdle isn't a faulty inverter, it's a miscommunication.
Totally. A good installer needs to be able to handle those communication breakdowns just as well as they troubleshoot technical glitches.
Active listening, empathy, finding solutions that work for everyone.
And sometimes it's about going the extra mile, taking the time to explain something clearly, offering more resources, just being patient when a customer is feeling lost.
Speaking of challenges, we haven't really touched on the physical demands of this job.
It's easy to get excited about renewable energy and all the tech stuff, but yeah, this is tough work.
The source material doesn't shy away from that. Long hours, often on rooftops, in all kinds of weather.
For sure. You need to be comfortable with heights, okay with heavy lifting, and able to work in pretty extreme temperatures sometimes. It's not for everyone, but it can be super rewarding if you're up for the challenge.
I bet there's a certain satisfaction that comes with working with your hands, being outside, and seeing those results.
Absolutely. Installing a system that's going to power a home or business for years to come and knowing you're helping build a more sustainable future, that's powerful stuff.
So, for anyone thinking about a career in solar installation, it's more than technical skills. It's problem solving, communication, a commitment to quality, and being ready for those physical challenges.
Adaptability, resourcefulness, and a passion for making a difference are key too.
It's about being part of an industry that's growing and helping create a brighter, more sustainable future.
Speaking of the future, let's talk about the most exciting part of this field, the constant evolution of solar tech.
We mentioned staying updated, but I'd love to dig into what that means.
Well, for one, it means being hungry for information. Reading those industry publications, going to conferences, checking out online forums, all that helps you stay on top of the latest advancements.
It's more than just keeping up with the latest gadgets, right?
Oh yeah. Safety protocols are always changing, installation techniques evolve, and there are always new regulations. Staying informed keeps you sharp professionally and safe personally.
Sounds like it's a continuous learning process.
It is, and that's what makes this field so cool. Always something new to learn, a new challenge around the corner.
Any recent tech developments caught your eye?
Microinverters are pretty interesting. Unlike those traditional string inverters that connect a bunch of panels in a series, these attach to each individual panel.
What's the advantage there?
It boosts the system's efficiency. If one panel gets shaded or has a problem, it doesn't affect the whole array.
Like a built-in backup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, you get much more detailed monitoring so you can track how each panel is performing.
It's not just about generating more power, it's about making sure each part of the system is working at its best.
And that level of control is getting more and more important as solar energy systems become more complex and integrated.
It's amazing to see tech driving innovation in this field. I'm sure there's more exciting stuff to come.
Oh, definitely. The pace of innovation in solar is incredible. Better panel efficiency, AI integration, smart grid technologies. The future of solar is brighter than ever.
So for those already in the solar industry or thinking about joining it, buckle up.
And remember, knowledge is power. The more you learn, the better prepared you'll be to succeed in this ever-changing field.
Before we move on, let's get back to those interview questions.
Those questions are gold. They really show what employers are looking for.
They're great for interview prep or just to assess your own skills and knowledge.
Exactly. Let's break down a few more and see what we can learn.
Let's do it. Okay, we're back. Ready to tackle some more of those interview questions that can really make a candidate shine.
I'm ready. One that always reveals a lot is, tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a problem on the job.
Yes. The classic, tell me about a challenge question. It's everywhere.
For good reason. It shows interviewers how you handle problems in the real world.
It's not just about describing the problem, is it?
No way. It's showing your thinking, the steps you took to figure it out, and the solution you came up with.
Proving you can stay calm and think clearly when things go wrong.
Exactly. Chance to show off your technical skills, your cool head, and your dedication to finding a solution.
Let's imagine you're on site and a solar panel isn't producing what it should. How do you troubleshoot that?
Well, first things first, I'd gather information.
Yeah.
Check the wiring, look at the panel itself, maybe even check the inverter's data.
Like a detective gathering clues.
Totally. Then I'd start ruling things out. Loose connection. Is something shading the panel? Is the inverter acting up? It's all about having a system to find the root of the problem.
I'm guessing experience comes in handy there. The more problems you've solved, the better you are at tackling new ones.
Absolutely. Experience is huge. But it's also about that natural curiosity, wanting to understand how things work and why they might not be working.
Another interesting question was, describe installing a solar power system from start to finish.
That one's about showing you understand the whole process. It's like painting a picture for the interviewer, taking them through each step clearly.
It's more than just knowing how to install a panel. It's understanding everything from site assessment and design to getting connected to the grid and final checks.
Right. It shows you, the whole workflow, that you're not just a specialist in one tiny part, but a true solar installation pro.
Safety's a big deal, we know that.
Mhm.
So no surprise that interviewers ask about precautions when working with electrical stuff.
This is your chance to shine. Show them, those safety rules and always follow them.
Talk about lockout, tagout, grounding, protective gear, those regular safety inspections.
It proves you take safety seriously, that you get the risks in this job.
And that you're putting safety first for yourself, your team, and everyone on site.
Of course. Another safety question that comes up is, how would you handle working on a really steep or high roof?
That gets to the heart of the physical demands and potential risks of solar installation.
Here, you could discuss your experience with fall protection, roof anchors, harnesses, and the importance of always having those 3 points of contact.
You're demonstrating your comfort with heights, your knowledge of safety, and your ability to work confidently in those challenging environments.
One last question that's good to be ready for is, What kind of solar projects have you worked on before?
This lets candidates show off their experience and versatility.
You can talk about all sorts of installs, residential, commercial, off-grid systems.
Discussing the unique challenges and rewards of each one shows you're adaptable and can handle different situations.
It's about painting a picture of your experience, what you're good at, and your passion for solar.
So, wrapping up our deep dive into the world of solar installation, let's think about what we've covered.
We've looked at the tech side, the practical skills, how crucial safety is, the art of customer service, and being a good problem solver.
We also went through the interview process and those questions that can make you stand out.
Whether you're just starting to consider solar installation or you're already in the field and want to level up, we hope this deep dive has given you some helpful insights and got you fired up.
Remember, the future of energy is bright, and skilled solar installers are essential in making that happen.
Keep learning, keep exploring, keep making a difference.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.